I'm Lily.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're the Drakes.
Welcome to Drake Academy. For today's episode, we're going to announce a new sponsor and showcase some of the product that they sent us. We're pretty excited about that. Then we're going to talk about how to escape the mid-range slog, how you can punch through it, get under it, or around it. One thing we're not going to talk about is the turbo decks. Obviously, turbo is a strategy that does get through the mid-range slog, but this episode is going to be focused on what happens when you're already in it, and how do you get out? Or do you just draw? We're going to give you the answer on this episode. Next, then we're going to go over the questions from the audience, and then last, we're going to talk about the meta from the Invitational that I played in this last weekend and some of my Monolith teammates. It's always a weird tournament. Invitationals are always a weird tournament. So we're going to go over that meta, kind of what the spice was that was brought to get out of the mid-range slugs that a lot of people, I think, expected. So yeah, let's jump into the product that we got sent. So we're super excited. It's something that was in the works for a while. We've been kind of going back and forth, and it finally came together. But Team Monolith is now sponsored by Heavy Play, and we could not be more excited. Lily and I were already fans of the products. We'd already owned a few of them. So this felt like a really natural, easy place for us to reach out to and just say if there was any interest. And there was, and it was awesome. So we're pretty excited about it. So kind of all that to be said, we're going to show off some of the product they sent us. And it was actually...
You guys get an unboxing video. Drake Academy unboxing, guys.
So yeah, you see it takes up most of our screen here. So let's see, we've got what is this? Oh, it's the tube.
Oh, that's cool.
The tube.
We have a playmat tube.
We got these are the dice boxes. Here, I'll just hand it to you.
Okay.
We got the playmat.
Oh, and you can see they're magnetized together on camera.
Oh wait, do they magnetize to the box?
They do.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's kind of funny. Yeah. So then what? We've got a deck box, and then what is this? Hard inners. Oh, more hard inners for the curved sleeves. So Heavy Play's got the curved sleeve inners. Oop. And then what do we got? We got more sleeves. And look at that, Lily. We have
more sleeves.
And just before you thought we were done, we have more sleeves.
I'm just gonna build myself into a little corner here.
More sleeves.
You guys can't see me anymore.
And lastly, sleeves. I think we have unboxed everything. So yes.
Yep.
You want to show off that stuff?
Yep. I thought that was more in the shot than it was.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
This was so the sleeves are for the rest of the team. We went ahead and sent them all to one person just to make logistics easier. But every player from Monolith got a deck box, a playmat, or a playmat holder if they chose that instead, and the dice boxes. Plus, we'll hand out the sleeves.
You can tell Jordan and I went with our respective colors. So obviously he got blue, I got purple. I wanted the playmat tube because I already had a Heavy playmat. Because like Jordan said, we were fans before, so I thought the tube was really cool. And it can fit most standard playmats, except for the thicker knit ones. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay, I just busted the box.
Oh, that blue looks really nice. That's a really pretty blue.
Yep. So what's really cool about Heavy Play, if you've never used a Heavy Play product before, kind of what makes them really unique among most other, kind of what makes them unique, I think is kind of their claim to fame, is their magnetized system. So you got your dice box, you got your deck box, and they clip together, which is super convenient for traveling around. I think
And it magnetizes to the playmat as well.
Yes.
So everything stays nicely together on your board when you're sitting down playing. You don't have to worry about your dice container falling off. It's really convenient. This is their purple color for those purple people.
The thing you can magnetize in.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. I haven't seen. We don't have the dice box. I just have the deck box.
I think I'd seen TK's.
Oh, okay.
When I used his dice container.
Yeah, these are super nice.
They are.
These are the 133 double sleeves as well, which I really like, because you can put all your tokens in the same deck box as well. So that's, I think, what we had currently before was the 133s. Oh, I have a 100 one as well.
Yep, you bought a smaller one.
Yeah, that one was just to hold all my tokens, but this is actually, I didn't realize they made 133s. I thought it was all just like one deck size box, like it's a 60 or 100. But it actually works really nicely, so yeah, that's super cool. Nice little snap. All right, and then let's see this playmat.
So let's unbox the tube as well. I'm really curious about her.
Like, I've not seen a heavy mat play tube. Heavy play.
A heavy play mat tube.
Play mat
It is a mouthful.
All right, so the playmat. So yeah, these are the unfoldable playmats, which are magnetized as well, like Lily was saying. So you can, I think this is how you do it, right? It's the, aha! We're waiting. And yeah, our stuff. Oh! All right, well.
Jordan's doing too much.
There we go. I had it all wrong. That's my fault. Yeah, see? The magnetized to the playmat itself. What actually is really nice about this, and what I really love about the system, so when you have your playmat, like you're done playing, right? You folded it up. Everything sits to the end. So it just makes it to where instead of having to carry all my crap around, I just pick this up and walk. I don't have to worry about, like, where's all my stuff going, right? It's all here.
That is really nice. This is the playmat tube. So it's a tri-fold situation. So we unfold, put the playmat inside. Oh, there's the
Little beads.
little packaging. But yeah, and then your playmat sits nicely in this middle portion.
Wait, does the stuff connect to it? Is it still magnetized?
I think it should be. It does. You got the nice satisfying click.
It's down at the bottom.
Yep. Oh,
Nope,
I don't think that was attached correctly.
You did the same thing I did.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So
That's actually really convenient to carry around too.
This is really convenient. No backpack needed. Carry around your playmat, your dice, and your deck all in one place, and super compact, especially when you have to fly to venues. So.
Hold on. Can I stack? Does it work? Hold on. Put it upside down. All right, that's kind of cool. That's actually kind of sick. All right. I didn't realize they stacked like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So 10 out of 10 convenience here. If you fly for a lot of tournaments and you just want to carry one thing with you, not a cumbersome backpack, this is great.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you use yours more often?
I didn't have the whole system.
All right.
I just had the playmat.
I want to open a pack of sleeves real quick.
Okay.
These are the curved ones, which I know are...
I'm not going to open the hard inners.
Wait, no, I want to see all in there.
Okay.
This is a pack. Just give me a pack.
Okay. I'm going to need you to rip this open. I'm not ripping this open without a knife.
Oh, these are the blues.
Ooh.
Yeah, they sent us a bunch of blue ones.
Are they just in? Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're not all for us, so I don't want to. All right, so this is the hard inner.
Mm-hmm. Let's open up the sleeves.
Is it upside down? Wait, which side? Does the round?
I think that's dealer's choice, isn't it?
The round goes. Does it say? I don't know if the rounded's go on the bottom or the top. It does not say.
Here is a sleeve.
Does it say on here?
Well, here's the sleeve.
Oh yeah. So these are the rounded ones.
Yep.
You guys can kind of see. Blue on blue probably wasn't the smartest idea here. But yeah, they have the rounded corners versus, and I think it's the top, right? Yeah. So I think you go. Okay. Yeah. So you do like that. So yeah.
So your corners. Yep.
Yeah, your corners. Your bottom. The bottom is the rounded edges. The top is the top. Interesting. All right. Well, we're gonna have to sleeve up a whole deck with these and test them out and see how they feel. Rounded corners is interesting.
It is interesting. I think it prevents splitting more often, right?
I think that's the idea.
The logic behind it?
I think that's the idea.
It is a sleek blue, though.
It is cool. It is cool. I mean, I'm willing to. I'm curious to test it, see how it is. We'll let you guys know if these are any good. But so far, I mean, the playmat and the deck box are really cool.
Yeah. I really appreciate a convenient magnetized system.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So, thank you to Heavy Play for sending us the product and sending the rest of the team their product as well. We're super ecstatic to be partnered together. Since we are partners, you can go to heavyplay.com/monolith, or you can input code monolith when you check out, and you get 10% off your order. It also helps the team grow. So please, if you're looking to get some Heavy Play stuff and you want to support the team, please use our code.
Yeah, super grateful to Heavy Play for everything. Super excited to see where the sponsorship goes, and I hope you guys get to enjoy their product as well.
Right, well, that's it for the Heavy Play product. Now that we've finished going over that and showing off this really cool stuff, we're going to get in the bulk of our discussion today. So when it comes to midrange slogs, we've identified there's kind of 3 key things that you can do to get out of the midrange slog. There's a reason they call them slogs, or hell, or what other pejorative you could use that basically says this sucks. They're grindy, they take forever. They kind of can be really hard to get through because when there's 4 Ristic studies, or there's a 2 Ristic studies and a Tithe and a Bowmaster, or some combination of nonsense triggers, and it's trigger, you know, it takes forever. It like monopolizes game time, and then you're like, well, now what do we do? Right. So we're going to try and showcase some ways to get through that. Some of them work better than others. One thing that we'll note, politics is not one of them. Mostly because politics, I feel like, actually contributes to the sloggy games. Because that's how you get the infamous,
11-hour game.
11-hour game. Any game that, you can't go overtime anymore.
Right.
But
any game that does go to 3 hours, right, in top 16 or 80 plus 20.
It's because of these very sloggy, very bogged down board states where all the androgens are going and triggers are going everywhere, and people want to yap over every single little trigger. Because that's the annoying part, right? You put a spell on the stack, we yap about the spell, 4 triggers go off. Now all the triggers have to resolve, and then there's more people start yapping again about the spell after all the triggers. It's ugh.
That's the thing. When there's 4 Ristic studies, 2 Smothering Tides, an Esper Sentinel, a Fairy Mastermind, blah, 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 right? At a certain point, it just becomes put your spell on the stack, let everybody draw their cards, and just go with it. You know what I mean?
No, we still have to yap about it.
How do you justify priority bullying at that? When everybody has a Ristic study,
I don't know.
It's just kind of go do what you're going to do after a certain point.
That's true. So the first way that you can get out of these games, besides just scooping, which is probably tempting sometimes, is parity breakers. So when you're building your deck, there are specific cards, and every color, I believe, has one. At least one. Most of them have lots that are CEDH playable. All colors have everything, right? It's just how playable is it?
Right.
But when it comes to CEDH playable cards, the idea behind parity breakers is they are cards that let you do things that CEDH decks would struggle to defend against. So, for example, Lumra is a great parity breaker because Lumra is really hard to interact with. Unless you've already stopped its engines and you've kind of picked your battle. But generally, if you're in a mid-range game, you probably haven't been interacting with Lumra. So if you haven't stopped all the engine setup, will act like countering Lumra itself can be really difficult. There's only a handful of spells in your deck, 3 or 4, that stop the bear. Other than that, you're losing.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You're just losing.
That's true.
And so you get to these weird board states where it's I can't really stop Lumra anymore. It's just going to do the thing. So Lumra, one of the reasons Lumra is so strong is because it's so hard to interact with. Hard to interact with pieces are parity breakers.
Right, and they're lands, right?
So it's a lands deck,
The lands are entering the battlefield. You generally can't do anything about that, right? True. Aside from, the 2 or 3 stifle effects that exist in CEDH that nobody really runs.
Yeah, they're rare.
People toy with, you might see them occasionally, but they're not really staples, right? So generally, if Lumra is allowed to do the thing, and either turbos out its strategy or outlasts the mid-range decks, there's not much you can say about it. It's just going to keep going.
Karksaka had a very similar game plan when it was still kind of bouncing around a lot. It's still, you still see it every once in a while, but, the idea of, you're going to draw a lot of cards off Ristic Study, but I'm going to keep casting, and I'm going to keep casting, I'm going to keep casting, and I'm going to keep accruing value because I'm going to double up everything. And if you put all your engines in play, it doesn't matter how many cards your opponents draw. You're not going to have enough counter magic. You just don't.
Exactly.
Right? As soon as I cast the spell, I've already won. As soon as it casts, the game's over. Like, now we're just going to play it out because why not? But like, if I've got, the doubler in play and then the other doubler in play, and then we've got the ska in play, we've gotten nonsense, right? The idea behind, so like, commanders can be parity breakers in themselves. And like, these are the decks that are like, oh, hey, I can beat the mid-range slogfest by
just doing the thing it's naturally designed
right,
to do.
right. But and the thing it's naturally designed to do is just really hard to stop because it doesn't interact with the stack. That's why decks like Tayam were also really strong. Decks like Magda, Sisay to a certain degree, but Sisay is also a little bit slower to set up. But the idea behind this is once you're already stuck in the mid-range slog, right? Because we talked about it at the beginning of this video. We don't want to touch on how to avoid the mid-range battles. It's kind of, this video is designed around once you're in them, how do you get out of them? And so your commanders can help break parity on this. Spells that can't be countered also help break parity because counter magic being our most ubiquitous kind of interaction in the format. It's very rare that you have, like Lily was saying, the stifle effects. Removal can be good, but like if it's something like a Grand Abolisher, removal all of a sudden doesn't work very well.
Right.
So that's why Hexing Squelcher caused such a kerfuffle, right? When it got released, because it can't be countered, and then it makes all your spells not counterable. So it breaks parity very nicely. Turns out though, in our meta, it hasn't. I just don't think it's been that great.
No, I think
Like it's good.
a lot of people thought it would be format warping.
I did too.
I think
I mean, count me in one of those people that thought it'd be format warping.
I was going to say, and I think I said it on one of our earlier videos, and if I didn't, I meant to, where I always thought it wasn't going to be format warping. I thought there are enough tools for people to play around it. It's going to be good, but not goated. But the amount of games I've seen where people just play around the Hexing Squelcher, they have bounce spells, they have channel effects, they have mind break trap effects, they have niche shit like commandeer, right? Like they find ways to get around the fact that things can't be countered.
I was gonna say right now with the meta being the way it is, it does make that card a lot worse. If you had that card in the Dockside era, where silences were not at a, I'm actually surprised now. I think back on the Dockside era, I'm really shocked we weren't running more orange chants and decks and stuff like that. But all that to be said, I think like cards like that, the like Hullbreaker Horror is like another really powerful one because once it hits the board, it's really hard to deal with, like really hard. I think Allosaur Shepherd is like a green one that some people run because it does the same thing. It keeps your green spells from not being countered. Plus, it can't be countered itself, I believe.
That's true.
Or is that Destiny Spinner? I can't remember now. But
I think you're right, Allosaurus.
Yeah. But like cards like that, right, where it's like not only can I not be countered, but then I'm giving, the ability to other people, and then that's why cards like Mistridge Village were so good, and Cavern of Souls is so strong because it's like, oh, I name humans, you can't counter my Grand Abolisher now.
Right.
Like, that's so gross.
Or any card that just says you can't interact with me right now. Like Defense Grid and Rogsai before the Thrasios X decks were really large and everybody had 30 mana.
But I feel like that card's not that good once you're into the mid-range. Right? You put it down and, well, like, once
if
everyone's...
people tap out for those mid-range engines, though, right?
That's true.
And they leave themselves vulnerable, then
But I don't feel like you're in a
good turbo pilot can just pilot around that.
But I don't think you're in a mid-range slog, then.
If you're tapping out for engines, you totally are.
Yeah. I feel like mid-range slog, the engine's already out, and we're just grinding value. You know what I mean?
You're talking about when people have 30-plus cards in hand.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Already.
That's a mid-range slog.
Yeah.
Anything else is just, we're going to beat the mid-range game by going faster than the mid-range decks. That's right? And one of the advantages of that is, you tapped out your Heuristic Study. Now you have to find interaction before I find win. Maybe you do, but probably not.
That's fair.
Likely, right? So, I mean, I think that's the thing, right, is a lot of these decks... or a lot of these type of card choices kind of come into play here, where it's like, yes, I can build a value deck. And the value deck is going to do the thing you want it to do, but you have to find ways to punch through someone who's got 30 cards in hand, right? Even a creature at that point isn't going to work. It's just not, right? So, like, casting your Grand Abolisher, great. It's going to get countered.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, that's just what's going to happen. So, but making it uncounterable, now you get some flexibility. Now it gets a little interesting.
It tells your opponents you have to interact right here, right now. And you have to
Right.
have very specific types of interaction or I'm just winning. I
Right.
don't care that you have heuristic study. If it's not a channel effect or a mind break trap or a silence effect, get good.
Yeah. And I think that's key, right? Is when you're going through that and you're building your deck and you're like, okay, I have this card for the mid-range game, and I have this card for the mid-range game, and I have this card for the mid-range game. Those are the kind of cards that kind of help you break parity.
Right.
I also think cards that take advantage of engines are really good parity breakers. So Notion Thief, we don't really see it played, but that
No.
card was, if you can get it on board and get it to stick into a heuristic study pod, that card goes bonkers, right? Consphinx is a great parity breaker for that reason. Some of the damage ones we'll talk about damage a little bit later, but they kind of can be parity breakers. But things like Alan's running Heartwood Storyteller. Heartwood Storyteller can be a parity breaker when it's paired with Smothering Tithe.
That's true.
Right? Because you're going to draw all the cards and you're making treasures, and your treasures help you break parity on everybody else that's also trying to develop. Trying to think of some other like really good draw parity breakers. Like Narset can be played. I haven't seen it played all that often, but it does exist, where it's like you can only get to draw the one card a turn. Yeah, like there's some strong cards like that can really like help when you're building out like your board and you're like, oh, okay, like once we're stuck in these games, these cards help me punch through that because now I get to steal other cards. It's like why Leovold is banned, because kind of hard to have a mid-range slog game with him in the pod, right? Because he draws all the cards.
He would solve a lot of problems.
I don't think he's that good, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even if he got unbanned, I'm sure he'd see play, but I mean, Notion Thief doesn't see play
No, it doesn't.
like all that often.
I think there's some people that tried it for a time and it just ended up to where it was getting cloned a bunch.
Yeah.
And it just created such a weird game states with the clones that it was just better not to deal with.
True.
That's one of those cards where you actually have to say, I can't run this because it will be cloned. When most of the time you can say, even if it gets cloned, this is worth it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But like Consphinx, right? Like you put down a Consphinx into a big pod that's like that, you're outdrawing the competition. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to stick, but if you do take the risk and drop it, right, then you just kind of start to run away with the game.
I mean, that's why Kinnon's so annoying, right? They have a decent chunk of those parity breakers. Consphinx, Nezahal,
Hullbreaker Horror.
Unagi, Hullbreaker Horror.
I don't know that I count Unagi and Nezahal as parity breakers. I think they're more
Unagi's debatable. Nezahal's not debatable.
I don't know.
Nezahal's totally a parity breaker.
He's just a heuristic study. At a certain point, he's just another heuristic study.
Yeah, but when you have heuristic study and you have...
But that's not a parity breaker, in my opinion.
It allows you to push through. If you're outvaluing the value decks.
I don't think you're outvaluing them, though. You're drawing one extra card on top of them, but then you have to still compete against 3 other people. I think the reason something like Heartwood Storyteller is strong is because while everyone's also drawing cards, their mana is running low, right? They're not replacing their mana resource, whereas yours is filling up. I think that's the difference with like a parity breaker like that.
Okay.
I do think a deck can be so far ahead
Yeah.
that it does break parity, but I think you have to be insanely far ahead. And I think if everyone's stuck in a mid-range slog, it's really hard to do that. It's like the Ragia Shyless are a good example. The entire point of those decks and how they break parity against the other decks is by cloning Smothering Tithe 2-3 times.
That's true.
Which means it's just really hard to compete with the mana part of that. But all that to be said, if you're all drawing the same amount of cards, I don't know. Like or you're drawing like similar amount of cards. I don't think it breaks parity as much. Smothering Tithe is just a really good card
Smothering Tithe is busted.
for getting through mid-range games like that.
Another way you can break parity is through split second cards.
Split second, yep.
That's one we haven't mentioned yet, but if we're talking about those 30 spell stacks where you see it on Twitter all the time where they span like the whole table and everybody has to take a picture of it and say our format is cursed. One way to get around that is split second. It simply says stop this right now. Whatever I'm doing is resolving.
Yeah, like we already talked about Trick Bind and the Stifle effects, but like Sudden Substitution was seeing play for a bit because that a couple people were playing that card a lot because I get to kind of just steal cards off the stack, which is really, really huge. And again, like we were talking about with Hexing Swisher or Hexing Squelcher, you don't even need to counter it a lot of times to still do something good with it.
Exactly.
So it does make it interesting from that perspective.
Sea Smash is another one.
Siege Smash, yep. Yeah, I got Kevin at the boil too. Crossing Grip,
Grip,
I've seen
yeah.
that card getting played a little bit more recently, but I don't know if that's just our local area where it shows up more. But the card's annoying against a TNT deck where it's like, oh, nice food token, infinite mana you're going. Whop!
Oh, split second, you can't go on top.
Oh my gosh. There's nothing worse than thinking you're winning and then getting split seconded and you're like, yep,
Yeah.
that's brutal. That's a brutal way to go down.
Especially when more people were coping on Angel's Grace and just forcing draws on that card.
Angel's Grace is a bad card.
I know it is.
I still remember, what was it, the first Royal Rumble where somebody demonic tutored for an Angel's Grace because someone had get probed my hand, seen that I had Thoracle Consult in my opening hand, which was nuts. And I didn't have a way to actually get to it. My mana was weird, but like the rest of the hand was fine because I think there was also a Ristic Study, so it was a good hand. And yeah, he tutored for Angel's Grace, and I was like, why would you not just tutor for a counterspell? You knew I didn't have a counterspell. And then the blue farm player plays Breach, and he casts the Angel's Grace. The blue farm player goes, okay, Brain Freeze myself, Final Fortune, Savine's on the next turn. Like, sure, buddy, you got him.
Yeah.
You did the thing.
You cast Angel's Grace. Good job, bud.
It's one of those things where if you're going to cast Angel's Grace, you have to wait till the very, very end.
Yeah.
Like when they put Thoracle on the stack and you go, Angel's Grace.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, I have no cards left in my library or my hand.
That's true.
I get got. So, yeah, what a dummy. I'm sorry.
That card is brutal, though.
Yeah.
Not good, just brutal.
I mean, it's brutal when you get got by it like one time, right? But
Yeah.
generally, it's really hard to get got by that card.
Yeah.
Because then there's so many ways around it now.
And the fact that it is split second is annoying because it's so mental missteppable. Like, just stop what you're doing.
It would never, ever have even seen play without the split
It
second.
shouldn't see play.
So, I mean, you never see like Everybody Lives or Dawn's Truce see play. Those cards are very similar. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other manifested cards, special action cards. Those cards that break parity, really crazy.
Yeah.
Anything that puts anything into play. Like we were talking about yesterday or a couple days. Yesterday on the Monolith chat, we were talking about Kinskier Sentry, where the Sentry, when you attack with basically the amount of attacking creatures you have with it, you put that CMC into play. So if you attack with 3 creatures, you can put a 3 CMC creature into play. Well, that's pretty awesome if you just put a Grid Abolisher right into play or a Voice of Victory. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, shoot. I can't do anything now.
That's true.
Or Aether Vial was played for that reason as well, where it's like, oh, here's my uncounter, I just put this into play.
Or Birthing Pod.
Birthing Pod can be similar.
Pod line.
I mean, any green tutor, right,
Yeah,
can do
any
that.
green tutor.
But those are a little bit more like, oh, I know what you're doing.
That's true.
Whereas,
I think the point is you set it up and you do everything all at once to win. You don't just sit there with it and say, hey, I can win eventually.
well, that's why I loved Oculus so much, because Oculus, all my stuff is on board, but you don't know what it is until I flip it up. So,
Right.
like, I remember I made a deal with someone where it was like, I was like, you can interact with me on my turn. Like, I'm fine with it, whatever. Right? I was like, just do your thing. And they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna, or no, I said, I made a deal where I got to get to my turn. And they're like, okay, I will let you get to your upkeep. I was like, but then I'm allowed to go for it. And I was like, fine. All the whole time I have a Grand Abolisher
I hate that.
under my thing. So the first second I had priority, I flipped it up. He was like, okay, well, I cast Born in Response. I was like, the special action, buddy. There's no responding. And he's like,
Hate special action.
and I was like, gotcha. I
See,
love that.
And that's where politicking matters.
It's not
It's not even politicking. That's just where being aware of Jordan's words matter.
Well,
right?
no. I mean, there's no way to ever have known that. I literally gave him like the best version of that deal. What else was he? It was literally, I was casting a spell and I basically was like, you can't win on your turn.
That's the thing. If you're so confident that they can go for it on your upkeep, you have a plan. That's the thing. You're not just saying that to say that.
Or I'm just hoping I can untap and see something. Like untapping might give me a chance. I mean, it's Thrasios, so I can always spin Thrasios.
Anyways.
That was funny, though. That one was really funny, actually. I'm going to bask in that memory for a second here.
Moving on.
Yeah, so parity breakers are these type of cards, right? The can't be countered, special actions, put stuff into play, commanders that are really hard to interact with. I mean, win cons that are also really hard to interact with. Like that's why stuff like Hermit Druid was always so strong because it's just like this weird. Oh, like we're just losing on the spot. Especially if you can get it into play with like an Agathos or something dumb where it's just like, oh, it's happening immediately.
Yeah.
And then Thoracle, and it's like unless you have the creature counter for Thoracle, you're just getting got. Because most time it's let Thoracle resolve because generally you don't have a counter for Thoracle anyway, right? So generally you have the Demcon counter. So yeah, these kind of things can really help. I think that's really the only when you build your deck, you have to have cards that are like this. Oh, one category of cards we forgot about. Cards let you play other players' turns. So cards like Mindslaver, Emrakul, the Apple of Eden. Haven't seen Mindslaver in a long time, but Apple of Eden I've seen a little bit more recently. And I have seen Emrakul. I think Emrakul always comes up and down.
I was gonna say it was big around the last Invitational.
It's always
the
big around the
2025 Envy time, and a little bit before then. After that, it's kind of died down.
So it always goes right before the Envy. It picks back up.
Right.
During the Envy, people play it because they anticipate these type of games, and taking players' turns is really good.
Right.
After the Envy, it falls off again.
Yeah.
Because
people have
people are playing it after the Envy because they see the Envy lists. So they run the Envy cards.
Yeah.
And then it falls off again when people realize it's only good for very specific tournaments.
And then people have varying experiences at the Envy where they're like, I never used this. We didn't get a turn 3. This was dead.
I mean, I've used Emrakul before, but it's still really hard to use properly.
Oh, yeah.
It really relies a little bit on luck on what your opponents are playing with and what the board state looks like. Like, remember when I Emrakul'd you guys? I Emrakul'd twice in the same game, and I couldn't win.
So annoying.
Because I had a deafening silence on my own board that I could not get rid of. So I Emrakul'd twice, and it was like, oh, well, both times people had wins, but they were non-creature. I need to be able to cast multiple spells, and there was nothing to do and they didn't have a way to bounce the deafening silence. So because when I was playing my Naya deck Voja, so I didn't have another tool to get rid of my own deafening silence. It's actually why sometimes I don't think those effects are that strong.
No,
they just kind of stop. Had I not played it, I think I win that game.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bad. You were stuck behind your own stacks piece. That was funny to me.
Yeah.
That was great.
Because I definitely had it otherwise, I think.
Maybe.
Then you ended up psych rifting and just winning, and I was like, oh. Well.
Blue Farm did what Blue Farm does.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think these cards, I think you have to have these cards in your deck, right? I think if you're trying to rely on the fact that I'm going to overwhelm with value, which does happen, I'm not saying it doesn't. Like, TNT is designed to basically play the mid-range game, but my mid-range is going to be so much better than yours that I break parity just by overwhelming you with value. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's really hard to do that consistently because if there's even one other player racing you and green being a little bit more vulnerable of a color, feels like it's really easy to start falling away really fast. Like if a Bowmaster comes down or a Mayhem Devil comes down or a board wipe happens, all of a sudden you're set back pretty hard. But if you're playing against a Blue Farm player, they're not set back all that hard. So now you're in this weird inescapable position where it's just hard. So I don't know. You have to have parity breakers in your build and just make sure when you're building your deck that you have these. Mm-hmm. So next, I think it's Flash enablers. Flash is a way to break parity, or not break parity. It's a way to break through mid-range games. I think the best example I have of this is the Boiled 2, where I won my semifinal game by just sitting around waiting forever while two decks waged war against each other, drawing 1,000 cards each. And then it came to the very end of their battle, and I was like, okay, now I'll go. And I won. And that is the optimal way to do it. Now, cards like High Fate Trickster, Valley Flood Caller, Emergent Zone, Born Upon a Wind. I'm trying to think if there's any others that see play. Leyline of Anticipation sometimes. Mm-hmm. I think these are the big ones, though. The problem with Flash, at least in the meta today, is I'm not sure that it actually helps punch through. The reason why is because everybody's trying to flash on top of everybody else. That I actually wondered if it's the opposite. It contributes to the Midrange Slogs. So,
100%.
Yeah. Because now it's okay, we're all going to sit around hiding behind our defenses. And then when time goes, we go, oh, now we're all going to go.
I think the meta would be so much better without Flash.
Yeah, because now you have to push on your turn. Or
You have to be
get another.
proactive. And no amount of 30 heuristic studies and smothering tithes or whatever is going to change what happens on your turn, right?
Yeah.
You can push, and if you get countered, right? But if you have your own heuristic study, because we're in a mid-range slog, then you're still well-positioned. You can still draw counter spells. You're still fighting the fight. But you don't have to worry about, person in seat 4 over there not countering anything, making it everybody else's problem, or whatever, the person first in priority just passing, saying, this isn't my problem, all of a sudden going, oh, you guys have used your counter spell, like exactly what happened with you with the boil too. You guys all done? Okay, I'll win now. It'll avoid that play pattern, because I genuinely don't find that play pattern fun.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that personally.
Yeah, and I think for me it was just the best way to get through mid-range games, because it's like, if I have limited resources, and TNT being a slower deck means that I have to kind of pick my windows very carefully. Flash lets me pick my windows carefully. The problem I've had recently, I mean, it's not even recently, like the last 3 or 4 months, it feels like everyone else is playing the exact same strategy now. So now games are just getting bogged down because no one wants to come out from behind the heuristic study and play. Everyone just is going to sit around, accumulate a shitload of resources, and then go, oh, I'm going to flash a win on top.
And that's the thing, the proactive decks, right? The 1 or 2 proactive decks that sit at a table that try to not get to the mid-range slogs, then just get punched into the dirt, told to sit down, they're taken into the mid-range slog, where then they're either forced to sit there or find their own heuristic study, and then also sit around, wait for a born, and do their proactive thing on top of whatever the other mid-range people are doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I still think it's a valid strategy, though. Like, I still think it works. It's still, when boards get stupid like that, it's still better to wait for your window and your moment to go. Like, there's no point in throwing your flash effect on the stack if it's just going to get buried, because that's what a lot of people do, and then it gets buried. And I think you're better off more proactively, not proactively, you're better off being reactive in those moments and letting the things play out the way they are, because whoever is pushing a win is the person who has to be defending their win. Whoever got antsy first and decided to gun it, that's the person that now has to play defense. Whereas the rest of us get to kind of do whatever we want, right? We can counter it, we can silence them, we can try to win on top, we can do whatever. So I do think I do think flash effects still help. I do think they somewhat contribute to the problem. But when I look at like my deck and I think about like, oh, well, how do I break mid-range slog parity and how have I done it in the past? A lot of times it's flashing something in at instant speed and then winning on the stack over top of people after I've overwhelmed. I've built a very overwhelming board. So like,
it's the Jordan Drake special.
Well,
We've said it before. You sit there, you wait, you let everybody do what they're gonna do, and you go, okay, I win. Like it's so telegraphed at this point, and you still get people.
I don't even do it as much anymore because I can't. I feel like people just know it now. So now I have had to change strategies again.
Yeah.
Like I even went greedy with it when I took Granaball's route because I was like, I don't even need it.
Yeah.
But lately I felt like I've missed it.
Really? You've been missing it lately.
I think I missed it at the Invitational.
No, okay, I can see that. At the end, in that meta, I can see that for sure.
But I think even if like we were talking about with Sentry, with Oculus, with some of these other like weird cards that let me put stuff into play, I don't know why I'm not on it. It's just too good.
With the addition of that into your deck, I understand the argument. At the point you took it out, I don't think you were wrong. But I think things are starting to evolve again, right? Like, TNT is starting to change again. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this category needs to necessarily just be flash speed. I think it can be anything instant speed, right? So you don't necessarily need a flash enabler. Like, earlier you mentioned Magda and Sisse. They're instant speed, right? Just from sitting there and playing their game. At any point, when people have overextended into stopping the TNT or the blue farm or the RAL or whatever the case may be, they can say, okay, you guys done? Activate, I win.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I love to cord for wins, right? I've corded for a Boro and then just started winning on top of everything.
Or just Swift, right? Just having Swift Recon in your deck at any point with the Devoted Druid out. Like we talked about in last week's episode. It's never just for mana, right?
Yeah.
It's just you could have that instant speed win right at that moment. And if people aren't careful around you, they're just going to get cooked.
Yeah.
Same with like me testing Glamour Gifter in Malcolm Vial. It makes it to where if I have a Malcolm and a Mayhem Devil and some mana, at any point I can just hack it and win on top.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think these cards are still good because they do force the game. They do give you flexibility for the game. So use them kind of cautiously. I don't think you should throw them out there willy-nilly because I do think they are counterbait, which sometimes that's what you're trying to do, right? Like sometimes throw it out there as counterbait. I've done that before. Like as I love using my Born as counterbait.
That's the other side of the coin, right? The first half was us talking about uncounterable stuff, uncounter Grand Abolisher, or Hexing Squelcher, or what have you. What happens when you throw those on the stack is everybody just says, okay, flash effect, flash effect. Yeah. Oh, that can't be counted. That GA's never, that is going to be spell number 1 in this 30 spell stack. And that's often what unfortunately happens with those parity breakers, those mid-range slog breakers, is it breaks the game wide open to where the person who cast that GA is probably not winning.
It depends, right?
Unless they're baiting it for their own flash effect. Unless it's bait.
Which is what I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's one of the reasons I miss GA is because I would throw it out there a lot of times just to see like what would happen. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, we're going to fight over this now. I'm going to draw, because if I have my wrist sticks today, I'm going to draw 5 cards while we fight over this. And then even if it gets countered, I'm still sitting pretty.
Yeah, you've come out ahead, right? Interaction out of their hands, couple more cards in your hand. Maybe you can't win, but they have less interaction now. Which
can help. It depends on who's doing it and like what point we are in the game, but for sure. Right, that's definitely a thought that goes into it. Yeah, I just think like when you're bogged down, the best way to do it is you have to have your window. You cannot miss your windows when the games turn into slogs, because then if your windows become very narrow in those really clogged games. So when you do have it, even if it's for the briefest of seconds, you have to be able to gun for it immediately, right? If someone taps wrong, or they use all their interaction, or like somehow the dust cleared after a big stack battle, and it's like, oh, no one has anything left. I can go for it now. You know, these are the moments you have to be able to seize. And flash effects allow you to seize those moments. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of the rotation, the turn order. Right. Right. And that's how, honestly, like, that's how I've kept my record up, I think, is having the flash enablers. Because when I'm in 4th seat, I still feel like I have agency in the game. Whereas a lot of times when you're 4th seat, you just kind of are sitting there like, yeah, let me know if it gets back to me, guys. Yay. Woo. I mean, 4th seat and a 5% win rate at the Invitational.
That is abysmal.
What's even crazier is I think that was double the improvement from the second Invitational, where it had a 2.5%.
There was also, like a 48% draw rate or some asinine figure.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, right? So that was the other issue with this, was no games even got to mid-range slogs. At least none of my games. They all got to, someone's really scary, let's draw. I'll put a win on the stack. You guys defend it. We'll draw.
I mean, we're going to do this breakdown.
Yeah. I know.
Later in the episode.
I know, but like that was frustrating. So yeah, flash effects I think are a really good one. The last category is the most underutilized category in CEDH, but I also think it's one that needs more exploring, and that's damage. And so this can come in 2 primary ways. The first is just normal. We're going to hit him in the face with our cards, right? Like I've got Crom, take 4. Decks that can apply a lot of damage, like Najila,
the Wolf.
Voja is like another one. Trying to think of like some other mainstream ones. Yuriko kind of can.
Winota
for sure.
Was the big one for a while.
Winota.
Yuriko's a good example. It's a really good example.
Alexios and Slicer decks, like those were kind of similar. Right. So the idea is these decks are going to apply a lot of damage to players, either through their commanders or like in Najila's case, through just a very wide board. The idea and what I really like about it is damaging players makes them make bad decisions. Great example of that. My game at the CCS 20K, playing against my buddy Corbin, he gets put down pretty low in life. I think he's down to like 9. The other blue farm player hits him with a Crom. He's down really low now. And he decides to make a push, which I felt that push was not optimal. I felt like he should have waited at least a turn. That I thought he had a better window one more turn, because I did feel like the blue farm player was probably going to push as well. Or yeah, you got like the same AKR commander. So like that pod was weird because I just think Corbin would have won. Like I really think Corbin had a really good chance, because the other blue farm player was going to push, probably get countered, and then it was going to go to Corbin's turn. And he probably just going to be able to untap a win. I don't think I had it on my turn.
I guess it depends on what was in his hand. Because I know he tends to run blue farm more like Rogsai sometimes. And so if he's really depending on a Necro or something, that's just cooked.
Right. I mean, he was already so low. Necro was already out of the equation.
Exactly. So if he had exactly the win, that's fine. But if
Well, he did. He did. He didn't have Necro or Nas.
he had breach in his hand or some way to
He had 9 life. But yeah, like so, Corbin makes a bad push, and I think it's because he was so low on life, and I really do. And I've seen it happen time and time again when players get really low on life, they panic a little bit and they're like, "Oh, I got to push." I've seen it like against Vivi. It happens a lot too because Vivi deals damage a lot around the table really easily. So I feel like there's something there where more combat oriented decks have a place in the format. Like it's still playing like my combat focused blue farm was like
right.
I'd be interested to almost go back to that where it was running like Sarah Ascendant, Knuckles, and some of these other like mid-rangey or punch you in the face pieces. Because I just feel like there's the amount of damage those cards can output really fast is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we shared that list for a time, and the amount of times I was just able to go turn 1, Sarah Ascendant, turn 2, some mid-range value, turn 3, Crom, and everybody's looking at me like, holy shit, my life does stop. Like, please stop.
I remember I hit a Rockside player in the face for like 15 damage through 2 turn cycles.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to keep hitting you, buddy. Like, you're just, I can't
Right.
stop your Nas, but I can sure hit you in the face.
Right.
So-
Hope you didn't tutor for that because you're losing most of your life.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think that combat, or just damage in general, right? And we were talking before, like, I think Shieldred, the Razorkin Needlehead, like, I've wondered, like, should we be playing some of these cards? Like, feel bad.
Like the pingers.
Yeah, but they feel bad. But at the same time, it's like why I hate sometimes Bowmaster gets misused, I think, because if you're just pointing it at someone's face and bringing down their life total really hard, it makes them all of a sudden go, okay, I got to push, right? Because you can't sit behind a heuristic study if your life total is draining.
I mean, even in Malcolm Vile, I've had my Glinthorn line cooked by life totals being too disparate, and now it's too difficult to keep it going. And I'm looting through cards. It's still Grixis, so it's still probably okay. But I've definitely had life totals become a factor in my game, even with people not dead, just near death. Like, it's definitely a valid strategy.
Didn't you just lose the tournament because someone killed themselves?
I don't want to talk about that.
So Lily was doing
We're not talking about that on camera.
her Mayhem Devil line.
Keep my shame off the internet.
And
I already had to live through it.
oh, it was so sad.
It was so cringe.
So sad. She was literally doing the Mayhem Devil line. Only had 1 treasure though, so she had to keep cracking the treasure to keep it going. Somebody on Ancient Tomb killed themselves with their Ancient Tomb to deny Lily the last pings.
It genuinely felt so bad. Like, I don't...
Because had she just killed the other 2 first,
Right.
and then that person...
Right.
wins.
It genuinely felt so bad. Like, I try not to get annoyed at Magic. I was genuinely annoyed to where I was just like, I'm going outside. I'm done. I'm done. I'm selling out. I'm done. I'm quitting the podcast. Jordan's going to need to find another podcast partner. I'm done.
Not
I'm
again.
done.
Not again. There's so many.
I almost sold out to that game store. They almost got a full Pirate Farm deck.
Oh, no.
I was fed up.
I felt bad for you that game, because it was like, you were winning. Like, what a way to go down. You still top 16, so it wasn't like the end of the world.
I mean, I guess.
But like, yeah. What a way to lose a game, right? Or to draw a game.
It was annoying because I waited everybody out. The blue farm player blew themselves. It was like classic window theory, classic everything. I did everything we talked about on this podcast, right? Waited it out, did the thing, yapped my pirates onto the board, whatever. Just to go down like that. Like, I was ready to crash out.
I've honestly, thinking about it, you go down in unique ways every tournament, I feel like.
Thank you,
lately.
Jordan. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Like we were talking about earlier, like the Flash getting stuck on the stack. We didn't even talk about your Grand Abolish getting stuck on the stack, and then you guys losing to a flashed in Chromatic Ori on a Derevi player, and then Derevi player doing the Derevi weird loop thing.
You know, that was the first time that ever happened to me on Blue Farm. I really had assembled Exodia that game of Ristic Tithe, and it was absolutely chef's kiss. And that was the first time that happened to me on farm. Not the last. At least 5 more times after that where I do uncounterable GA, uncounterable voice, and people just say, yep, that's spell number 1. We're getting to spell number 40.
I mean, just watching like y'all all pass in the Chromatic Ori was crazy, considering
I had no interactions.
2 people had interaction for it, and both people just, I don't think they realized that they were in danger. But I don't think Chromatic Ori should ever resolve.
Well, it was also a weird scenario where like people were saying they weren't having interaction, and then they did have interaction.
That's true.
And then there wasn't interaction for the win con, and it was like, guys. Guys, stop. Guys.
Yeah, I was judging that one. So, like, I happened to be sitting behind a couple of the players, and I could see interaction in people's hands, and I was like,
Yeah, I didn't have interaction by that point. That wasn't my problem.
no, you weren't winning that game.
No, I wasn't.
That GA, as soon as it hit the stack,
I know.
game over for
I know.
you. So, yeah, back to the point, though. I think combat damage, I think, I know we always want to pressure the Nas players total first and the Necro player, and I don't think that's wrong. But I also think that there is something to be said about pressuring the people who are drawing cards as well, and not letting them sit behind Ristic Study and optimize their hands every single turn.
Right.
Basically, force them into making bad decisions early before they've gotten the chance to draw through 30% of their deck.
Right.
Right? Instead, you're like, oh, well, now I have to jam because my life total is at 20. And oh, shit, they can hit me for 15 around the table again. And that gets you out of kind of those slog games, because it's like, oh, well, what do we do? I feel like people just forget to swing in CEDH.
Sometimes. I mean, CEDH decks aren't really built for it. Like, your Sisei, your Magda, your, like, standard, your Rao, Rogsai runs all of what? Like,
6 creatures.
8 creatures? Yeah, exactly. So, CEDH decks today aren't really built for that.
Well, that's also why I've said, like, if we know we're going to get into these slog matchups, why aren't we playing cards that do damage life totals on draw?
Because it's not proactive.
It's not proactive. That's the issue, right? We don't run reactive stuff in CDH. We run, I want to win. I don't know. I've wondered, though, like, a good counter to, something like a Heartwood Storyteller is something like a Shieldred.
I mean, I think that's why Rog Ishai is kind of hot right now, because you have your proactive plan, right? You have, your Smothering Tithe and your Accruing Value, your Midrange Slog, whatever. You have Underworld Breach, which is beautiful, but you also just have the Murder Bird.
Always have the Murder Bird.
Where it's one of those things where it's in your command zone.
And that guy gets big fast.
That gets big fast, and then that player just says, swing, swing. Oh, are you dead now? Cool.
Yeah, he goes real big, real quick.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, I agree. I think, it's interesting, right? Like, I think there's a lot of options out there. So it really just comes down to which one you find best. I feel like a blend of all three is probably the best way to do it, though.
For sure.
Right? Where you're doing damage, you're probably using your flash effects, you have the parity breakers, and it gives you the flexibility to kind of get your way out of these games. Again, I just don't think politicking is really it. Like, I know people want to talk and yap their way out and trick people, but, like, in my experience, the more people yap, the less likely it's going to resolve. In like the game is going to resolve in a game that's not just a draw, I should say.
Yeah, once you combine 3 Ristic Studies, a Tithe, whatever, with massive yappers, that game is drawing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, you said at that one tournament, right? You were walking around, and it was either a Kinnan in the pod, or a massive yapper in the pod, or a massive yapper on Kinnan. And those were the ones going past 80 minutes. I still don't understand what it is about Kinnan that always seems to make it go long. No, it's like...
Because I feel like it should be blue farm if any deck that goes long.
It's what I was saying earlier. Consphinx, Unagi. It's escaping me. I just said it. Nezahal, Hullbreaker Horror, Seedborn, Wandering Archaic. I can keep going.
Trigger.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
And they do have less ability to punch through than other decks, like, because it really does come down to Hullbreaker Horror, and then that's it. You try to overwhelm them at that point.
Right.
Hullbreaker and overwhelming.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, I think the overwhelming strategy works. I think the parity breakers work. I think those two work better than flash effects right now.
Okay.
In my opinion. And then combat's just super unexplored.
It is.
I think it's the most unexplored territory. But I think it's hard to, because, like you said, most good cards for CEDH are not cards you swing.
Right.
For various reasons. So, I don't know. Definitely something to consider for sure. So, all right. Well, now that we have kind of talked through how to get through the mid-range slog, and look, I think one of the key things that we did not talk about, but it's something to keep in mind, is having a healthy mindset when you're in these games. Because I think when I watch players in these situations, there's a tendency to get really frustrated and aggravated. And I think most games I've seen, when players get aggressive towards each other and things start to get spicy, for lack of a better word. They're always mid-range slogs. No one gets spicy in a turbo game. You get spicy after the game, but not during.
I got turn 2'd.
I think, though, making sure that you keep yourself collected and calm, because it can be very aggravating, right? Especially if there's a lot of triggers happening, you're trying to find a win, people are yapping. I find that those are the games where people really start to like make some poor personal decisions and start to lash out at people around them. So just when you're in those games, try to keep calm, deep breaths, keep your head on straight. That's the best advice we can give you, is understand the situation you're in, acknowledge the situation you're in, and start, instead of getting frustrated with everyone around you, start trying to find your way out of it. You've got the tools. If you've listened to this podcast, we're giving you the tools to get out of them. If you've built your deck correctly, you should have ways to get through it. You find the ways, you gun for them if you can, you try to find your way through it. If you can't, then it's a draw and you move on to the next one. There's plenty of Magic to be played. Even if it doesn't end up being this tournament, there's plenty of other tournaments where you can break through. So I'm telling you guys, some tournaments, everything's going to go wrong for you. This past week, the Invitational, I got silver bullet at every game, right? If the thing existed that stopped me, and it was like the one card they needed, they always had it all weekend long.
Welcome to my world, man.
I mean, tournaments go that way sometimes, right? Like I've had plenty of tournaments where it all went right for me.
Yep.
Where it was like the stars aligned perfectly. Like the Boil 2 is a great example.
Yep.
The stars aligned perfectly. People had interaction to stop me and didn't use it because one reason or another, right? Where they didn't realize they could stop it or they didn't catch it in time. Sometimes you have miracles happen.
Right.
And sometimes the flip side of that happens, the inverse, where it all goes to shit and, your luck stats 1 for the day, right? It just happens. So always try to keep yourself calm and collected. Find your way through, right? Instead of focusing on what's going wrong, try to focus on how to get through it. Best advice we can give you. It's not impossible. Plenty of people get through them. Plenty of people win these games. There are plenty of strategies to get into the mid-range slog. There's plenty of strategies to get out of the mid-range slog. If it was impossible, no one would play a mid-range deck. It's kind of the thing I really want you guys to take away from this. If it was not possible and mid-range slogs were like, oh, the end-all be-all, and why would we ever be there? Well, we'd all just play turbo if it was impossible to get out of them. So I'm telling you, the tools exist. It's just you have to find them and you have to have them in your deck and you have to know when to go for them in those situations.
I think it also takes a lot of kind of fortitude and endurance to get through these 30 spell stacks, right? Usually, a lot of the times, these are happening in top 16 games, right? I mean, not all the time, but for the most part.
When you're most tired.
Right, when you're most tired. So either top 16 is the next day, and you woke up at 8, 9 a.m., and maybe you're not as well rested as you should be, or you're doing a one-day tournament, and top 16 is at, 9 p.m. after you've played 5, 6 rounds of Magic. So...
Yep.
Really just understand that it's a game of mental fortitude. The more you engage in these mid-range battles and see how they play out and see how others navigate the stack, right? Note where your opponents screwed up, note where your opponents did something really clever, and just learn from every mid-range slog that you're in, because you're probably not going to win your first one, I'd hazard to guess, right? But eventually you're going to get to the point where you do start winning. You do get comfortable with these large stack battles and with a million trigger heavy games. And eventually you just start learning where your window is, where you can push, and kind of what you need to do. But it does take a lot of fortitude and a lot of really knowing your deck well, too.
I'd agree. Yeah. So with all that being said, we ready to get to questions?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to questions. Question 1.
The first question comes from our Discord server from Moxian. What is y'all's opinion about the worst color for each color pair, i.e. 1 color, 2 color, etc.? And what commanders do you think would work for these color combinations in CEDH, and how would you plan on building those commanders? I hear a lot about the worst 4 color pairing being WBRG, and while that may be true, I use Warnog and Elmar as my commanders, and I'm able to put a lot of pressure and wins on the stack, especially if I've gone to more CEDH tournaments and learned more about CEDH as a whole.
Wait, so is it saying basically pick like the worst color for mono, the worst color for 2 color, the worst color for triple, and the worst color for 4 color?
So worst color for each color pair, 1 color, 2 color.
So, okay, so yeah.
So, and what commanders would work for those color combinations in CEDH?
Okay, so let's go worst color number 1 is white.
Easily.
Mono white is terrible for CEDH because mono green's got some interesting stuff. Mono red is speedy as anything. Mono black crick works.
Yeah.
Mono blue is barely not viable.
I was gonna say I can name a monocolored deck that is top 16 in event
In
for
every color
everything except white.
except white.
So,
The best white commander, Oswald Fiddlebender, maybe. Like at least he's interesting.
it's true.
Light Paws, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. What is that? Enchantments matter? Equipment matters?
It's enchantments.
Enchantments matter?
I think it's auras matter.
Yes.
It's like still bad.
Yes.
I mean, you could do Heliod and then just hope you draw into blue stuff, like right, like run.
What's that bad stacks build you were tinkering with? Katori or
Hokori?
Hokori. There we go.
Yeah, the one that destroys or that you can't tap lands or something like that.
Yeah.
That one was dumb.
We are gonna sit here.
But it doesn't work in CEDH because
No,
then everyone just plays all their mana rocks. Then you go,
Yeah.
and then the one land they do on top is cringe.
Cringe.
I think it's one land. Maybe it's none. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mono white's bad.
Yeah. So then worst 2-color pairing?
Where's 2-color pairing? That's hard. Because I want to lean towards Azorius
I want to say Golgari.
or Boros.
Boros, that's fair.
I mean, you have Winota.
I mean, Golgari has Gitrog, which is
You also have
making a
Chatterfang.
resurgence.
Chatterfang too.
Not in CEDH as much, but yeah.
Some people run it though. You also just have like it has Hulk lines, which
does.
makes it really easy. But Boros has nothing except Winota.
That's true.
Like the Sammy deck's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's been around more lately.
I mean,
to be fair.
Affinity is busted.
It is.
Affinity for artifacts. So I think it's what? It's Sammy, Winota, and that's it for Boros that I can think of.
It can't be Gruul. Gruul has a Tali.
Gruul has a Tali, which makes it easy. But Gruul, well, and Minsk and Boo. Some people ran the Minsk and Boo deck to like, or not. It was Minsk, not the Planeswalker one, but the other one, because it was a
Right.
Protean Hulk outlet in the command zone.
Right.
Which made it.
Demir has.
Oh wait, that's not Demir, or that's not Gruul. Sorry, that's Naya, I think.
Okay. I think Gruul truly just has a Tali.
No, because I think the Planeswalker Minsk and Boo is still CEDH viable, and he's decent-ish.
Okay. Demir has Yuriko and Talion.
Yeah, Demir's fine.
Demir's fine.
Azorius is fine.
It's fine.
As it's more than fine. Simic is great.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Um,
Selesnya.
Selesnya is rough, but you still have
Okay, there's Brigid now, though.
Brigid is
That
fine.
is out there now.
I mean, I've seen the Turbo Sithis list is really strong because it catches people off guard.
That gives me flashbacks.
There's the Captain Sisse list that always seems to pop around that does really well.
That's true.
The Emil list that's really funny, but also does kind of decent.
So are we just back to Boros?
I think it's Boros. I can't think of a worse color pairing in
I mean,
CEDH.
Rakdos has Rowan.
Rowan and Rakdos the Muscle.
And,
which
and Obnix.
and Obnix.
There for a minute.
Yeah, so it's Boros it's Boros or Black Green because I can't remember what's Black Green. Golgari.
Yeah.
It's Boros or Golgari.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd put both Boros commanders above any Golgari commander though, right? So maybe it is Golgari.
That's what I'm saying.
You have Chatterfang. You have Dima. Kind of, if you count Dima. You have old Stick Fingers.
Okay, when is the last time that's seen CEDH play?
I haven't seen old Stick Fingers in forever. I think it's funny though.
And somebody's gonna hit us with a screenshot in the comments proving us wrong. It's out there somewhere.
All right. I think it's Golgari.
Okay.
I think I lean more Golgari because at least we have Winota and Sammy,
Okay.
which are both, I think, CEDH, like, viable decks, right? They can hang.
So where's 3-color pairing? This gets tough.
This does get tough.
Grixis is cracked.
Jund. I mean, you don't really have a CEDH viable Jund anymore, except for, like, Corvold, kind of. That's it.
Before the past 2 weeks, I might have said Jeskai.
No, Jeskai was always fine.
Jeskai's awkward.
Yeah, but you have the Narsets are always decent.
I mean, anything with Breach.
Elsha's
Right?
fine.
Like
yeah.
anything with Breach.
I
It's hard to argue for.
I really think it's... Oh, Abzan has only time. So it comes down between Abzan or... What did I just say?
Jund.
Or Jund. Tayam probably is better than Corvold right now. So maybe slightly into Abzan.
But
it is only...
Abzan has worse win cons than Jund.
What's the new Anti-Ul? Is that Jund? Because that might change my answer. Because Anti-Ul is
question.
legit.
That's a good question.
I think it's Absent then, because it's only Time.
I agree.
And Time only gets away with it because of its uniqueness. Every other deck is trash and Absent.
I've seen people say it in other videos too. Absent just doesn't have the consistent win cons.
Which is weird to me.
How do they win?
Which is weird to me because they have green, black, and white.
Right.
But I guess you have no outlet for any of the wins that you would normally have in all those colors.
Right.
Because in theory, you should have a lot, right? You'd have the Devoted Druid lines. Mm-hmm. You'd have... Okay, actually, the fact that that's the only thing I come up with might be our problem here.
Yeah.
But you have all the black tutors, you have all the green tutors.
To find what, Jordan? What are we finding, Jordan?
Devoted Druid. Finale.
To what end, Jordan?
Devoted Druid Finale, that's all you need.
Okay. It's Absent.
It's got to be Absent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then 4-color, yeah, I think Sands... Was it Sands Black is probably the worst? Or Sands Blue?
Black is the worst.
Sands Black has nothing playable right now. Like, you have the Thrasios Bruise, but when's the last time I saw a Thras Bruise?
Right.
Or Thrasikiri?
Thras Vile Smasher's killing it. Blue Farm's always killing
Well,
it.
it's do you put Blood Pod above Malcolm, or sorry, not Malcolm, above the Bruise Thras build, right? That's I think that's the battle.
Blood Pod above Bruise Thras?
Right,
yes.
Sands Blue versus Sands Black.
I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's weird to me though, because Zerd is so good. Is it really falling off that hard though?
I think so.
Yeah, I just can't think of because like it's literally Thras Bruise, Thrasikiri, or Aragorn. That's it. But then all you have in the other color in Sands Blue is Blood Pod. That's it.
That's true.
It's Tim Natana, right? It's nothing else.
But Blood Pod
true?
is still out.
Is that true? What's the Friends Forever? Do they have the Friends Forever one?
Oh, isn't that is that not what they mentioned in the question?
I don't know. Warnog. It's what black white is Warnog. What's green
Hold
white?
on, I'm pulling the comment back up
Orthelm
again.
or something like that. I don't know these friends.
Warnog and Elmar. Elmar?
Oh, is that's the red green one?
I think so.
Yeah, red, green, and black white. Yeah. So it is Sands Blue.
Yeah.
I don't even know what these cards. Hold on, I know what Warnog does. What does Elmar do again? Okay, so you have Elmer and Warnog. Mm-hmm. Elmer is whenever you cast a second spell each turn, untap target creature, then investigate. Isn't there Elmar? No, this is not the Street Urchin deck. Never mind.
No, that's Ernest. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've ever seen Elmar in a CEDH game.
I don't think I have either.
Untap target creature is not bad though. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature. It's actually kind of hot.
Yeah.
Especially if you did some like Cradle stuff with
Why is it always back to Cradle?
Well, if you have the Magus the Candelabra.
Yeah.
You like tap Cradle, then tap Magus to untap Cradle, then cast 2 spells, then untap Magus to untap Cradle again. It's kind of hot.
I'm so amused.
It also actually kind of works if you're running like Bloom Tenders and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
But there's no outlet, right? Because Warnog's not an outlet himself.
No.
Like you make Cradle mana, but then you have to crack clues. Mm-hmm. Actually, cracking clues is not bad. The problem is you just don't have a way to like continuously crack them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd be curious to hear the win outlet in that.
I would too. I mean, it's probably just blinking Warnog infinite times, right? To get infinite clues.
Probably.
And you could do some kind of token strategy. Because you could do like Jaheira maybe. Which she taps all your stuff for all your clues for mana. I don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead and comment below if you know this better than we do.
Yeah, I think we've identified the weakest ones in the decks that are playable within those colors.
I think so.
So, have fun. It seems that you want to fight an uphill battle, so have fun. we bid you fair winds and heavy tides or whatever. I don't know. Sorry, I butchered the crap out of that.
All right, next question.
Fair winds and following seas, I think is what it is.
Next question is from Traumahawks. I've only recently started jamming games in CEDH. I joined a league, but I found there are so many people playing for a draw. The phrase I hear is midrange hell, which seems pretty appropriate. Any progression on board or perceived advantage turns games into a 1v3 with the intent to draw. Man, doesn't that feel real for you?
I mean, we talked about it earlier, right? Like, these situations come up because...
Well, hold on. I haven't finished.
Oh.
It was getting too relatable and I had to... I had to pause. How do we avoid this mindset as a format? Furthermore, how should players navigate that space to not be blown out by 3 players worth of interaction when you're the player in the lead? Window theory seems to snapshot once the discussion of a draw hits the table. Can't disagree with you there, honestly. You've got a point there.
I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier, right? Like this weekend, I hit draw after draw after draw after draw after draw because players just don't want to play the game because they see as soon as they got to a point where people thought they had a chance of losing, it didn't matter what you could talk through. Like, I mean, short of showing people my hand that I couldn't win, and I did that even once, and people still said I was the threat, and I was like, brother, I don't know how a land and a high fake trickster makes me the threat, but sure.
If the land is Gaia's Cradle.
It wasn't. It was like a fetch, I think. It was just like, really, y'all?
Yeah.
I had nothing on board that like mattered to the 2 cards in my hand. They'd already hit me with an OBM. I was just like, guys.
So how do you fight through that?
I think I've wanted to start testing a strategy of I will not accept a draw and say it at the beginning of the game and say, look, guys, I'm going to be completely frank and upfront. I'm not going to accept a draw. I don't care what happens in this game. I will lose before I accept a draw. I want it to be very clear. Play the game knowing that I will not accept draw. If you force draw, I'm not going to accept it. I will lose.
Right.
And maybe having that mentality and just saying it up front
Right.
will force people to change their play patterns within the game. Because if they get to the point where they're like, oh, we can draw, I'd be like, no, I already said I'm not drawing.
Yeah.
The only way I will draw this game is if it goes to time.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm going to defend their underworld breach. Okay. Then they can win the game.
Yeah.
That's a loss on your record if you defend their underworld breach. Have fun, bud.
Yeah. The problem is, I just think players were so quick to like give up on their game. There was players that were in winning positions. Like, so in my game 1, the Rockstars player was in a winning position, in my opinion. I thought he had interaction. Was in a winning position. He agreed to draw. And I was like, well, why? Like, it made no sense to me. I thought, like, the problem is I feel like if I start arguing that I don't want to draw, everyone's going to look at me and be like, oh, well, you're going to win then.
Right.
But for me,
they're going to say, we're going to force you into the draw because you're the problem.
Right. And I had a very narrow window to win. Like, I needed a bunch of stuff to go right to win that game. But I was also just like, I don't think, because like a player had put a Yogg's Will on the stack. The Rockstars player could counter it. The player with the Yogg's Will could counter it back, but then he couldn't really do anything past that. So they agreed to draw instead, where it was like, oh, well, I'm just going to let the Yogg's Will resolve then if you're not going to agree to a draw, which, I mean, that seems weird to me, but whatever.
Then the Yogg's Will resolves.
Yeah.
Let them go.
And then
But the
Kalia player didn't have much. I don't think the Kalia player was going to win. I could have been wrong about that assessment, but it didn't look like they were in a winning position yet either. My turn, I wasn't going to be able to win. Like, I could present, but it was going to be unprotected. And if people were keeping their interaction up and the Yogg's Will didn't get defended, like if he doesn't defend the Yogg's Will because there's no reason to, he's going to tap out to do nothing anyway. But if he lets it go, he keeps his Flusterstorm up. I can't do anything into that. I pass.
Right.
And then Rockdast is in a great position.
Right.
So like I felt from his position, I don't know why you wouldn't keep the game going at least a little bit longer.
I mean, just as an outsider, I was just watching standings to see who won their games, when wins were being clocked, how turbo was it, just from what I could do from the outside. And what I saw was most pods had most rounds had at least one draw before the 60-minute mark, if not 2. And I'm not talking about the people at table 1 that had been winning all day. I'm talking about I saw pod 4 drawing, I saw pod 5 drawing, 10 minutes into the game, 15, like, you shuffle up, you look at your hands, and you say ID is what it read to me as an outsider, which seemed insane.
What was also weird is people were like, they would put one win con on the stack and get countered, and they'd be like, all right, let's draw. And it's like, like people that had wristics and boards up, and I'm like, why would you draw there?
Right.
Like if someone puts a pact and they want to counter my first win con, I'm like, go for it. Counter it. Die. Goodbye.
Yeah.
We'll keep playing. I don't understand. Like, I've seen it before too. Like I remember there was a game where the Kinnan player put a Basalt on the stack, and I had a pact negation, and it was all I had. My game plan had gone south, and I was debating going for it. I was debating playing it because I was gonna have to tap out, and I'm like, I put it down, and I'm like, all right, I'm just debating if I'm gonna cast this. And the Kinnan player goes, I'm good to draw, and I'm like, why would you? I was like, okay, sure. Like I needed the draw, I think, to lock. So I was like. It was a weird game where I was willing to accept draw because normally I hate accepting draws. Like I viscerally angry about draws.
Right. Especially after this weekend.
Oh, God.
This has really rubbed salt in the wound.
But, like, I don't understand why the kid and player would accept the draw there.
Right.
I was just debating, like, am I going to be boned casting this? And he's like, oh, I'm willing to accept draw.
Well, because it sounds like he went in raw. He couldn't defend
Well,
it.
he couldn't defend it, but he was still so dominant. It didn't matter. The other two weren't winning anytime soon.
Right.
I wasn't
Let
winning
the
anytime
basalt
soon.
get countered. Let Jordan pay for pact. Keep playing the game with a shitload of mana. I'm assuming.
It takes me off of my turn. The other two players were not. I don't think they were close, but I think he misassessed that they were closer than he thought.
Could be.
And so he accepted draw instead of winning, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'd be more willing to risk another round to have my win con countered and risk another round and see where I'm at. I've argued it before, right? Like when you're playing 5 rounds, sure, I can take a draw or I can roll the dice and hope for a win. But like most games, any normal tournament, 8 points is not going to make it in a 5-round tournament. Most tournaments, it's like 12, right? Or 11.
10 or 11, yeah.
Yeah. 10, yeah,
Like 10 is like bottom of the barrel suspicious. 11 is safe.
Right,
typically.
so you can take one draw, but then you have to hunt wins the rest of the time. Draws,
Exactly.
literally after the first draw, it doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly. And that's why when I saw people drawing into round 3 and 4, and finally in round 5, people got their stuff together, and I think the majority of people started trying to play to win. But by rounds 3 and 4, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Well, I think
why are you still taking draws?
the reason this one was particularly frustrating, more so I think than the first NV, was because people correctly assessed that one win was going to be enough. So all you had to do is find the optimal win that you could find, and then you were in, right? Because
But then if you don't find it, if you don't start betting on yourself in
there's a
those
reason
rounds,
there's a reason I had 4 points, right?
yeah,
And a lot of people had 4 points or 3 points.
Yeah.
But that was the problem, right? Because in the first invitational, you couldn't have the luxury of drawing every round.
Right.
You needed to find a win and then find another win.
Right.
Right? Because I think the minimum was, what was the minimum cut on that one? It was,
was it not 12?
because it was a win and Waffle had 6 draws. Yeah, so it was 12.
Well, yeah, was it not 12?
Yeah, so it was 11.
Because I know I had
11 made it.
I had a win and a couple of draws, and I still needed one more win to bounce in.
And then that creates a situation where you can't draw as much.
Right.
Right? Because if you're drawing that often, you're not gonna go.
Right.
So more people were willing, I think, to hunt wins and maybe roll the dice a little bit more to try and get to those situations. But yeah, to answer your question, honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out because this weekend I could not get out of the draws. Usually I just kind of find that I can decline them and it's not a big detriment, or I can talk people out of them. Because I'm like, hey guys, I think we can still play lots of Magic. Like, I think we're fine. I was like, because a lot of times it's not that people are pointing the finger at me yet. It does happen sometimes, but I feel like a lot of games, they're worried about somebody else. And I go, hey, I think we can still play the game. I think we're fine. And they go, oh, okay. But if you're the threat, it becomes a little bit harder of a conversation. So that's why people switch to Turbo, right? Because Turbo doesn't have that issue. The gun for it, if you don't get there, we drew anyway, right?
Yeah.
But the same situation. But
And you live to try again in the next round, maybe with better odds. Maybe you get there in the next round.
and it helps when there's multiple people that are doing really well, because then neither of those players want to leave the pod, because they're like, I'd rather see this play out because I think I'm in a good chance to win. I don't know. I think it's something that we're going to be exploring how to figure out. I think like what we've talked about in this episode, breaking through that slogs, the cards that we talked about, and the strategies you can employ help.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, I think the slogs are where a lot of these conversations come up. But if you find ways to break through and people can't do anything about it, that's when you can kind of get away with some nonsense.
And also, like you said in the beginning, experiment with just telling people from the get-go, I'm not drawing. You want to cast a Pact of Negation when you have 2 mana to try to force a draw?
Goodbye.
That's on you. We're just going to let you not be able to pay for that, You want to defend an Adnaz in order to force a draw? You defend that Adnaz, it's going off. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Hopefully it also helps people not keep Pact of Negation in their opening hand.
Exactly.
I've heard some people say that card should be banned because of the toxic play pattern it creates. I'm not 100% unopposed because of the nonsense you do with it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going to kill myself and you, so let's just draw.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because if it's a normal counterspell, you just cast it.
Yeah.
And say, we'll keep fighting.
That's fair.
So, I don't know. It's weird.
So last pseudo question we're going to kind of do for the day, because those 2 questions ran long, is a review of the mid-season tourney would be a cool section of the episode from Cheesecake Berry. So
All right. Well,
we already kind of got there, but
you're gonna get it because that's actually the meta that we're gonna cover today.
yeah.
So weird meta in terms of some decks that I think were kind of on the radar for people, but weren't expected to do. I don't know. Saying expected not to do well is probably not. They were on people's radar, but I don't think that people were quite sure of what to make of them. And that was the Rog Ishai decks, which are legit. Like these decks are crazy good. Jason, Zach both doing really well on Rog Ishai, I think is not surprising. It's also not surprising, right? Blue Farm does what Blue Farm does, right? It was very dominant this tournament, like it always is. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the top six, or no, yeah, 8 of the top 16 were Blue Farm. But you had some variety outside of the, in the top 16 outside of Blue Farm, right? We had a Magda, Natalie making top 16, Abby on Timna Thras, like we talked about the 2 Rog Ishais, Dexter on Rogsai, Nicholas on Thrasvile, Pigeon on Ral, and then Alan also on TNT. So we had some good diversity outside of the 8 Blue Farms.
Farm decks were really prominent though between Tree Farm and a B and
He runs
generic Blue Farm.
He runs his own version called Cradle Farm, but yeah, it's similar.
Yeah,
it's similar-ish.
And I know Alan doesn't necessarily play Tree Farm, but it is still.
Well, Alan runs Blue Farm in TNT.
Yeah, it's still a farm deck, right? So farm decks are really dominant at the Invitational.
Shout out Heartwood Storyteller.
Unsurprisingly, really dominant.
Yeah, and then a bunch of the turbo decks, right? Thrasvile's a turbo deck, Ral's a turbo deck, Rogsai's a turbo deck.
Yep.
But Turbo, I think, struggled. The craziest part of this meta is Kinnan had a bad day overall, which was surprising.
Love to hear it. Did you mention Rogsai in the top 16?
There was one.
Okay.
Dexter made
Dexter, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's always one.
There's always one.
We say in these breakdowns, there's at least one Rogsai.
That's why I'm shocked Kinnan didn't make it.
Man, there is some justice in the world.
There was a Rakdos the Muscle was really cool.
That is cool.
A bunch of Sisseis got close, but no cigar.
Oh, Tim Nadargo from
Juan.
Yeah, that's typical.
Yeah.
Typical.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a cool tournament
Yeah.
in terms of deck decisions. Like we saw some interesting stuff out there. So I think that I think I was surprised not to see more Kinnan do well. Like our buddy Matt Sweeney didn't perform on Kinnan, and of course Waffle, he's been on a crazy run, and his Kinnan kind of fell short this time too. So definitely surprising that happened. I really thought Kinnan was going to be kind of the boogeyman of this tournament, and of course it would just end up being Blue Farm again. It's always just Blue Farm. I don't know why.
All roads lead back to Blue Farm. We got to say it for like 1 week on this channel. We said 1 week. Oh no, Blue Farm's on the downturn.
That was such a
Every
lie.
week since then, we have been steadily proven more wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah. Blue Farm is still the deck to beat.
Yeah,
Dallas proved it, right? Shout out to our buddy Dallas, Team Monolith.
Shout out to the homie. Good job on that dub.
Yep, taking down the Invitational.
You did the Blue Farm thing we always joke about. You took less game actions. You said interacting at those portions, not your problem.
Okay, so watching Alan get dismantled was like every TNT player's worst. Like every TNT player's had that experience where everyone points to them and says, "You're the threat," and you're like, guys, like, yeah, it's a little scary, but let's be real here. And then Blue Farm's like, let me draw 30 cards and win, and TNT's still getting dismantled, and you're like, stop.
He was more than a little scary at the point they started dismantling him, to be fair. Smothering Tithe and TNT is an issue.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying it's exactly what happens every game.
Yeah.
We dismantle the green player, and then the Blue Farm player gets fed 13 cards to do so, and then the Blue Farm player untaps and wins, and we all go, oh my gosh, Blue Farm's so good. Bro. Nonsense is what this is.
I did make that joke when you were like, man, like Alan's in a really dominant position, and we just slowly watched the game shift. And by the end, I told Jordan he had every TNT experience ever, right? Dismantled, threat assessed against, politicked against, while all the other decks at the table just got to accrue value. And then Dallas just untaps and goes, Voice of Victory.
He had my experience from the last Invitational. Everyone went to kill my shit, and then Sterling untaps and wins, and it's like, yeah, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, y'all killed our Biomancer, and now we had nothing to defend.
I mean, it was harder to predict with Sterling's, to be fair, because they had
Blue Farm always,
one card in hand at that point. Dallas had drawn
I'm
maybe
convinced.
not a lot, but Dallas had drawn a good amount at that
I'm
point.
convinced Blue Farm always just has it nowadays. I'm just convinced.
You've been traumatized by Blue Farm, like I've been traumatized by Cradle.
Well, like I said yesterday in the Monolith video, right? I played against Charles in round 2. Dude has one card in hand, untaps and wins again, and I'm just like, happens to draw
well,
Dark
when you
Rit
draw
and Nos.
Dark Rit and add Nas off of your Tymna hits and protection, and the blue card to pitch to Force of Will. When you draw the nuts, you draw the nuts.
I hate that fucking deck so much. I thought I hated Kinnan, but honestly, maybe I just hate Farm.
It's okay. I hate Cradle Farm.
We never win. I don't know why you hate us so
We
much.
never win is crazy.
I didn't win a single game.
Because people correctly threat. There was no Gaslight Gatekeep girl bossing at this Envy.
They already made that joke yesterday.
I know.
There was none. The one game, no, that's not even true. I had a few games where I was like in the dominant position. And I still couldn't get there just because I was forcing draws every time I was in a halfway decent position. And then the one game where I should have won, I get freaking Karned to the Great Creator on turn 2 or on turn 1. Turn 1 Karned was insane, considering I had a turn 2 Devoted Druid win. Just not my tournament. It happens. You know, those stars aligned to say go fuck yourself. Oh well, what can you do? So
If you don't laugh, you cry.
yeah, the Envy meta is always one of those ones where it's interesting to look at. It's always funny to talk about how many draws there are. I always like to
It's not
reference.
it's not representative of the entire format as a whole.
No, I always like to reference high level chess. If you actually watch like 2 grandmasters play, if they play perfect, the game ends in a draw. So the only way to like not draw in chess is to almost not play optimally. It's like weird, right? It's like if 2 computers played against each other, from what I've been told, they will always draw because they're both playing optimally.
Right.
But that's like the key to the grandmasters is they know how to like maneuver around the optimal and still win. So I feel like that's what happens to us.
Okay.
Is like when 4 good players sit down and playing, the optimal outcome, if you're playing optimally, is that it's going to end in a draw.
Right.
So
because when somebody screws up and overextends or
not even
doesn't
that.
interact at the right point,
If everyone is playing extremely clean, the game just never ends.
No, but I'm saying that's how you avoid the draws is
Right.
when somebody screws up and somebody interacts at an incorrect point, dismantles the green player or whomever completely, right?
Well, that's what my deck.
Then somebody sneaks through and grabs the window.
Well, that's what my deck is designed to do, right? If you make a mistake against me, I will make you pay for it. The problem is if no one makes any mistakes, or if I'm the one making mistakes, I pay for it. So that's just what happened, right? No one really made any mistakes in my round one, right? It was clean. Everyone was playing clean, and that led to the draw. Everyone had threat assessed me correctly, right? I think the only thing that could have helped was like more pushing would have maybe opened a window for me, but it just never happened. Round 2, just bad luck, right? Charles drawing the nuts while Sam Black tapped out, which was a little odd, but like maybe Sam saw something I didn't. I don't know, but I felt really good about my position in that game going out of my turn, and I was a little disappointed not to get back. Game 3 was scuffed because of the Karn. I couldn't have accounted for that. There's no world.
Sure.
Game 4, I could have won. I should have won. I did punt that game. Not punt, but like there was an error I made. I could have gambled on it not being Thoracle Consult, and I think I would have been okay. And I would have won if it got back to my turn. Because it was in Stacko's turn. The Winota player was not doing anything. Like they were so down bad. It was rough. So getting back to my turn means I win. 100%. I had win in hand. Yoshitas didn't have anything. Stacko clearly didn't have anything. What's Winota going to do against a Thoracle? Right? Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I guess they could already beat me. That would have been a little sad.
They could.
Actually, no, they couldn't because it was a green tutor. So there really was nothing. Silence. But then I Tainted Pact on top of that. So, oh no, I guess that would have worked, right? Silence on my green tutor. That would have sucked, actually. So it had to have been exactly silence.
Yeah.
And they'd already used their orange chant.
Well, depending on what green tutor. If
No,
it resolves and it goes straight to the battlefield, or you not?
Well, it doesn't matter because if you fire off the Tainted Pact, unless Thoracle is your last card,
Oh, no, you're
Yeah,
right. The
yeah.
sequencing of it. Yeah.
It makes it rough.
That's funny.
Yeah, that would suck. But that's not what never saw it, so
Yeah.
we had to draw. And then round 5, just natural draw because of all the game actions that were being taken at the end. I felt like that game was a game that had it gone to time, I do think I win it, but hard to say. Or like if it doesn't go to time, if it plays out to a natural conclusion, I think I win.
Right.
But it's hard to say for sure.
Right.
Yeah, weird tournament, not representative of the format, but it was fun, mostly fun. I don't know, frustrating but fun. That's what I'd say.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all the time we're gonna have for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you guys like always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe below. Make sure again to use that monolith code both on the LandGo website and now on the Heavy Play website. Both will get you 10% off your entries in LandGo and then 10% off your product for Heavy Play. And again, it does support the team, so or it does help the team. So if you really want to support us, that's a great place to do so. We really appreciate everyone's support. And yeah, I think that's it.
I think so.
Yep. So thanks everyone again, and we'll see you next week.